Hey guys, Ash here again at Flight Sim Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at the PMDG 737NGX for FSX and the startup procedure for that. Everything won't be to the checklist. PMDG's really put a lot of nuances into this aircraft that really make it special. And if I showed you absolutely every little thing, I feel it would ruin it. I think a lot of the fun of add-on aircraft is kind of learning all the little nuances of each airplane things. But I will do a quick and dirty startup for you guys and show you some of the FMC features, etc. So let's get started. We'll start by getting into the FS Actions menu here. And I'm going to go ahead and go into the fuel page and enter 4,000 pounds for the center tank. That's about all we'll need for this flight. As far as payload goes, I'm going to go ahead and do the set random feature. As you know, airliners aren't always full, they aren't always empty, so that's usually what I do, is just a random load. As far as ground connections, I'm going to go ahead and remove the wheel chocks, and that's the basic setup for our load and our fuel there. There's no more drop-down menus from the FS bar. It's all done through the FMC now, from panel state, options on the aircraft, etc. Really everything's self-contained and changeable on the fly. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the batteries, which will supply power, and the standby power. Double check that we're showing enough voltage before we start the APU, and going to do a fire system test. You always want to check that before. The green lights are obviously your bottles. You always want to do a check on that before you start the APU, just in case the APU had a fire and you needed to put it out. You want to make sure that you have your bottles full there. One other thing is that even the artificial horizon here is showing its initialization time to calibrate, etc. Right on the screen you can see initialize 52 seconds. It's actually giving you a countdown, which is pretty neat. Go ahead and clear the master caution. And we're going to go ahead and start the APU. Go ahead and turn our cabin utility and our passenger seat power on there. And the APU will show a low pressure enunciation when it's beginning its startup process. As you can notice on the gauge, there's really no red or yellow marks as far as temperature. It's all computer controlled. Really, these four lights are all your data you have on your APU, and obviously your fire handles if something went wrong. So it's all pretty self-contained system there. I'm going to go ahead and turn our position lights to strobe and steady, and go ahead and turn on the anti-collision lights. The EGT should stabilize around 400 Celsius, and we'll at that time get an APU generator bus light here that the APU is providing power. There it is. So what we're going to go ahead and do is turn on the power to the aircraft from the APU and arm our emergency exit lights. As you can see, the aircraft is now powered by the APU. We have some basic DU screens on here. Obviously we haven't programmed the FMC yet, so they're blank. I'm going to go ahead and do a light test, and you can see all the lights in the cabin just to make sure that they all work on the overhead panel, and you can see the MCP lights flashing in a test mode. Everything looks good there. I'm going to go ahead and hit that master caution. We're going to bleed air from the APU and turn the left and right packs on, and the isolation valve to auto, so we can get some air in the cabin here. It's hot out. And it'll go ahead and start cooling the cabin down. We're going to go ahead and program the FMC now. What we do is go to the FMC page. It's going to go ahead and tell you that dual FMC operation is now restored. The meaning of that is that before there was only single operation on the one battery. Once the APU is fired up, both are on. And before we go ahead and program that, we need to align the inertial reference system. I do have it on the auto setting, so it's instant. I didn't want to sit here for the 15 minutes it takes to fire them up. Otherwise my YouTube video would be way too long. So we're going to go ahead and clear that out. Go to the position initialize page. Type in our airport, KDEN. And we're going to use the top position as it's more accurate than just KDEN. So that's now set. Go to our route page. KDEN is now in the scratch pad since it was entered earlier. To KSLC. Flight number F1. And we're going to be departing on runway 34 right today. Alrighty, we're going to go to the departure arrivals page now and look at departures from KDEN. As you can see, the runway is already selected 34 right as we entered it on the last page. And I'm going to pick the Denver 5 SID to leave. Hop over to the legs page real quick and we'll enter our waypoints, Echo Kilo Romeo. After that's finished, we can, it's not a very long flight, so I'm only going to use that waypoint. We'll do the arrivals page for Salt Lake City here and set our arrival runway as 16 right and an ILS approach to that. And the star is Bear 4. Go ahead and clean up these discontinuities real quick and activate this flight plan. You'll notice that there's no speeds or altitudes in yet. That's due to us not feeding that data into the FMC yet. Performance initialization, you go ahead and hit initial reference and left click and then right click to enter it. What that's doing is it's automatically calculating it through PMDG software, the zero fuel weight and the gross weight of the aircraft as well as the center of gravity. You don't need any third-party software with PMDG to do that. You just simply do what I did and it gives that to you automatically. We're going to put in reserves of 4, cost index of 100. Oops, excuse me, wrong page there. And a cruise altitude of FL 320. This is your N1 limit page for takeoff. This is a D-rate page. Airlines don't usually take off with full thrust unless they absolutely have to have it. It just limits wear and tear on the turbines and makes them last longer. We're going to do normally they'd produce 26,000 pounds of thrust. Today we're going to do a 24,000 pound D-rate and tell that the temperature is 34 Celsius, which gives us a N1 of 95.2 on takeoff, and that's confirmed here on this screen that we have a D-rated takeoff one at 34C. You can also D-rate on climb. I'm not going to do that. 5 degrees of flaps for takeoff, and if you left click then right click, you enter your center of gravity, and the FMC is telling us we need 5.47 degrees of trim, so I'm going to set that now. And the quick reference handbook, V speeds are already brought up for you, which is nice. So we obviously have V1, rotate, and V2 engine out speeds already set, and they obviously go right into the speed tape right there. So essentially at this point the aircraft is set up for the flight plan, and you can see that now we have speeds and altitudes already put into the waypoints which weren't there before. Also, there's a progress page showing you fuel at each waypoint. It can go up, it can go down, depends on how the winds are that day. So it's usually pretty accurate though, within a couple hundred pounds. PMDG's really done a great job coding all that systems logic. So anyways, the runway we're taking off of today is 350. So we'll set that. It's actually the 34 left, but the magnetic is 350. It's kind of a glitch in FSX. And our speed, we'll look at our V1 speed. Excuse me, it's right here. It's easier to get at here than dig through the FMC again. 137, so I'll set 157. Auto throttle on and flight directors on. If you don't have your flight directors on, there's a lot of things both of them on the autopilot can't do, and that the the flight systems can't do. So if you want to use LNAV and VNAV, you definitely need both those flight directors on. And then you'll get an MA enunciation here that the captain's is the master. Anyways, back into here, if you want to look at your legs here, all you got to do is, we'll pull it up so you can see it. Switch over to plan, and you'll see that this switches to a step enunciation on the FMC. And what that's going to do is allow you to step through each waypoint to so you can look at your flight plan to make sure everything's set up the way you want it. That's pretty much the setup for the FMC. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is begin the pushback. We'll do one final overhead panel check before we go ahead and do engine start and the pushback. Yaw damper on, fuel pumps on, standby power, all that looks good. We don't need any lighting. Seat belts on, and we can go ahead and do a window heat test here. We can do a power test, and then overheat test, and then you have to reset the switches after that because it trips it. Probe heat on, electrical hydraulic pumps on, and then trim air, we have each cabin set to auto, which is usually where I leave it. We'll go ahead and close up the packs for now so we can do an engine start off the bleed air. And our cruise altitude today is FL320, so we'll set that into the pressurization system. Hop on back down to the FMC, and we'll go ahead and initiate a pushback. So we're going to go 150 feet. Over here you can change it to meters if that's if you're in Europe or whatever. Canada, anywhere but where I live, right? Turn nose to the left, 45 degrees, and we'll go ahead and start that procedure.
And ground, cockpit.
Go ahead, Captain.
We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed, we are ready for pushback. Please parking brake, please.
Alrighty guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the
parking brake is on,
engine page here, and we'll watch CN2. We'll go ahead and use the right ignition and start the right engine.
Brakes off, here we go.
And what we're waiting for is a 25% N2 indication here to go ahead and bring up the idle cutoff switch to turn the fuel on. We'll also have a start valve enunciation. And once you turn the fuel on, you're going to see a big EGT jump there. And that's when you need to watch your hot start temperature. And if there was a hot start condition, you would want to immediately cut the fuel off to the engine. Alrighty, the starter switch is off and the turbine is stabilizing. We can go ahead and start the left engine, and we're going to go ahead again and wait for 25% N2.
Push is complete, set parking brake, please.
Alright, brakes are set and pressure's normal.
Okay, sir, tow bar is off, pin is out, watch the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will be watching for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that, have a good flight.
Alrighty guys, we're pushed back here. You can, now that we have power from the turbines, we can go ahead and turn the generator switches on, and you'll see that the APU is now isolated, so we can go ahead and turn the APU off. We'll go ahead and start bleeding air from the turbines, turn the APU bleed off, and the recirculation fan's on. And and you'll be able to hear the packs come on. I turned on the runway taxi turn-off lights and the taxi light. Go ahead and bring down the HUD. We can go ahead and set 5 degrees of flaps, and the auto brake to reject a takeoff. It'll do a little self-test here, and then extinguish there. And we'll obviously have a leading edge transit light there as the flaps make their way down. We can go ahead and set our barometric pressure to field, which is 3002 right now. And also make sure you set your backup. You guys see that. The backup also, you can change the illumination and change it to hectopascals. Also your ILS. Anyways, guys, at this point, we're ready to taxi for all intents and purposes. The aircraft is powered, the engines are running, everything's set for taxi out to the active and takeoff. So anyways, guys, I hope that was informative. I hope it gave you a good look at PMDG's new 737NGX product. It really is a great product. The systems modeling is just impeccable, so what you would expect with PMDG, but this really sets a new standard. So that being said, guys, I hope you stay tuned for more flight sim reviews. Next we'll do a takeoff and a small climb out, and I hope to see you then. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments box under the video. I thank all my subscribers for staying tuned, and I hope you guys stay tuned for more flight sim reviews. Thanks again, guys.